I'm at Eclectic with Lindy Michie, and I want to talk to Lindy a little bit about her work. Lindy, I love your new work, and part of it for me is there's amazing shift in perspective. Like you've warped the perspective somehow, and in like for instance in this one above, there are elements that we recognize. The shapes, they appear to be objects, but the way that the light and the way that the color forms overlap is very confusing for the mind. And I love it. I love the way that you really distort the sense of where the foreground is and where the background is. How do you do that? How do you come upon that?
Well, it's basically, for me, it's I do an underpainting, and then I get the effect of the colours from the underpainting, and then I do the painting. It's not really particularly planned, to tell you the truth. It's just when I've come to the end of it, I know I'm happy with it, but it's not something that I've really particularly planned.
So it's an intuitive process.
It's an intuitive process.
But do you actually have forms and objects that you start with, or is it purely drawn from your?
Well, in my studio, I do have form in my studio so that I can bounce. I can use those as subject matter in my paintings, or not. It might be just something very simple. I don't get too hung up on objects or form that much.
They're not really about the object, although I love this coffee urn, and I noticed it appeared a few times.
Yes.
And it's really about the shape and the horizon line and the way that the horizon works in your canvas, which could be the edge of a table or who knows what.
Yes.
So it creates an amazing sense of depth as well.
Yes. Well, the way I do things is that I work in layers, and I sort of scrape off paint, and you can see it's sort of fairly transparent, that top layer, and the form is important for me. I'm not an abstract painter, so the form is important, but I like to keep it as loose as possible as far as that goes. I don't want to get too hung up on the form.
I felt in some of your digital images that they're really like sketches, because I noticed in one that you deliberately left gaps at the edge of the shape, so that there was white space or the background was coming through
I like
again.
That.
And
yes.
I did too. I thought it's really loosened up by taking on that new media.
Right. Yes.
So, and it seems like they're evolving. Like they are moving.
And since I've started to do this digital work, I find that my paintings are bouncing off the digital work, so they're playing with each other in that way. I mean, these ones that are quite new are very influenced by the paintings I've been doing on my iPad, and so I'm really enjoying that whole process. And I started doing the digital work when I didn't have a studio for a year and a half. And I discovered painting on my iPad, and it was just a joyous thing for me to discover that.
Well, it's wonderful because you're embracing a new technology, and then that also influences the traditional way of painting.
Exactly.
But it's giving you lots of other possibilities for illustration of books, of stories.
Yeah, it's absolutely opened up a whole new avenue for me. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us.